And we go live to the tone in less than 5. Hi guys, welcome home. Welcome to Heaven. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Really, it's from who don't know, he's Heaven from he's HeadsUp FPV from 5533. And hi, how is going?
It's going great. It is almost 4 p.m. here in Tennessee, back home, and I just got back from the 533 office to come talk to you guys, and I'm really excited.
Oh, so it's nice warm day today.
No, actually, it's like I think it's 0 degrees Celsius.
Nice.
Right now. You can see the outside a little bit. It looks warm from the picture, but it's definitely not. I need to wear some jackets and stuff. Yeah, we've been doing these tiny trainer races indoors, which has been super nice because that way your fingers and everything stay warm, and you can still race. Because like flying, maybe you guys know, I don't know how cold it gets where you guys are from, but like flying in the cold, I do not like it. It's not very fun.
Yeah, I can feel it. Yeah, usually when we stop flying out there when it's 5 degrees less, maybe.
Oh yeah.
No. So where will we start? We start from the beginning. What's your begin of your journey in FPV community and racing?
Yeah, so let's see, I think I have a picture of it on my phone. So this here, if you're looking on the video, but that's a picture of me when I was 5 years old flying a remote controlled airplane.
Oh, that's nice.
At 5. So that was 15 years ago. I'm 20 years old now. So I've been flying something remote controlled since I could hold a controller. And when I was about 8 years ago, I picked up my first controller to fly a drone or FPV. And one of my friends who I'd flown remote control airplanes with in the past got a drone, and I got to fly it and was just mesmerized. And in 2016 was my first drone race. So, I mean, what is that? Like 8 years ago now, or 7 years ago, something like that. 2017 was my first Multigp nationals. Ooh. So I qualified for the first time in 2017 and flying again just with my friends here in Tennessee. And I got 10th place at the Multigp Nationals that year. And that's the year that Alex Vanover won in Reno. And then, if you know anything about drone racing, me and Vanover, our rivalry continued for many years after that. It was just the beginning in 2017. And
Multigp and go on in the DRL and everything else.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's really funny. Even now, our rivalry started in 2017 when we were both so young, and then all the way through drone racing and DRL. And now even in the filming world in LA, we work for competing film companies there, which is just so funny. We just can't find a way to not compete against one another, but still, of course, friendly and everything. But the racing and rivalry has came true for all of the different things that me and him have ended up doing. But it's great to see him finding success as well. But to get back,
you have some a nemesis. It's not a nemesis, but sometimes we say that if you have someone who grew up with you or in your same time, it's better. It's the competition level. It's help you to get better and better and better. Right?
Absolutely. No, if you should always look for people who are similar skill level or better at whatever it is that you do. And I've come true to that with business and with drones and with racing and everything. How can I find somebody who's better or where I want to be, and how can I spend time with them? And Vanover, I mean, simple as that. He was much better than me in 2017, and we spent time together and practiced together and competed against one another, and we both got better because of it and both started our careers because of that. So yes, we're rivals, but because of all the time we spent competing against one another, it made us both better and get us to the point where we are now today.
But you say he was faster than you, right?
We can talk about it a little bit, but I don't want to. I don't know if he's watching right now, so we'll let the results speak.
Okay. Another question that I have is...
we hope he will see it.
We are pro.
I'm sure he'll send me a clip of this and be happy to show me.
Nice.
What challenge do you find when you find the Multigp? What's the most difficult challenge you fight with?
Yeah. I think we all know, anybody who's ever raced drones before, the biggest thing you'll know is that the mental game, like inside your head, is really difficult. If you make a mistake and you have to go back up again, or maybe you're having problems with your drone and not acting properly, it's really hard to separate that from just actually doing what you know how to do. And if you have good days, then maybe you're flying really, really good, but then you start to get complacent, or you start to forget the little things, and then maybe you just do something dumb. So what's most difficult to me about drone racing is, no matter if it's going good or no matter if it's going bad, just to act with the same level of intention and focus for every single heat, no matter the circumstance. It's like if you guys have ever played the card game like poker. In poker, you don't want to let emotion get in the way, because if you're starting to feel lucky, then you will start to play hands that maybe you shouldn't play, and then you'll start to lose. And then if you start to lose, you become too timid to bet when you do have a good hand. So drone racing is a lot like the same way. The best poker players have very little emotion. They just have a strategy and they play it over and over and over and over again, regardless if it's going good or bad. And saying that is one thing, but actually executing is another. But it's something that I think a lot of other drone racers struggle with, is just being that poker player that is always consistent, that is always locked onto the same strategy, doesn't change it. And that is the biggest thing that I personally struggle with in Multigp or any drone racing.
Like, forgot to set the antenna. Maybe you crash. You see the drone is good, but the antenna is sticky. It's not. I get it.
No.
I have a lot of
you should
first.
Yeah. I mean, what any good drone racer should do is, the day before the race, or maybe 2 days before the race, check all of your drones. Before every single heat, test hover all of your drones. And if you are feeling really good and feel like everything's always working, the one time you need your drone to work, something's going to go wrong. So you need to have a system in place that you follow every single time, checking every little thing, because you don't want your lack of preparation to be the reason you lost. For me, if I lose because I'm not fast enough or I'm not good enough, then I will go home smiling and happy, and that's okay. But if I go home because my gear was not ready, or I didn't have a charged battery, or I just didn't prepare, then I'm super mad, because that's something you can control.
Yeah.
And you had the ability to change it. So that is the biggest thing that I struggle with. But it's hard to do all those things and always stay on top of it.
And do it all alone, or you have someone who come with you to set up drone in championship? You're alone? Or?
So sometimes, other times I do have some people with me, or maybe I go with like a group and we help each other. So like if you are in a different heat, then they will help you. And I think if you can find some friends in drone racing to go do this with, you guys will all do better together. We'll all do better because you can make sure, if you have two people looking at the same drone, you can catch these small things, and in comparison to doing it by yourself, you may mess those things up. So some people, like the younger people, maybe have like their dad or their mom come to help. And I did when I was younger, but now I kind of have some friends that help me, and we help each other to do better.
Group is better.
Are you listening, Minus?
Yeah.
That seems our description.
Yeah. The group is on. Without the group, it's more difficult. As in my way, I'm came from catering school, and I do a job like in a construction site. So for me, electronic was really a thing to challenge. It was a challenge for me to have a group. We are in Fano. We are the group of racing quad pilot. for me, have my captain or philophab to stay there and just say, hey, this is wrong, this is good.
Yeah.
It's best, is the best, because with a YouTube channel, with a YouTube video, you can set it up all, but when you're there in the field, you need a group, you need someone, especially when you're a beginner, obviously.
Of course. Yeah.
Another question that I have is, what do you think about the innovation of the FPV? So if you see something new like HD0 or Express when it's come, you're the someone who go and beta test, or just wait when the time come and pass just when you feel that it's ready?
So I get 533 is constantly developing new things as well, but also that means I, as a drone racing pilot, want to have the best gear all the time. And so that means that I am constantly trying to see what's the best. But also 533 is trying to make products and carry the best products as well, which means we do a lot of beta testing. And the nice thing about 533 is we have lots of pilots who we either sponsor or who work for us. So if I'm busy doing filming or I'm busy with something, then they can test things for me or together and can maybe say like, hey, you should try this, or this thing wasn't very good, and things like that. But we, of course, want to be on the leading edge and have always the best stuff, which means you need to try things and try and make them better. So it is definitely something we're always trying to do. But I can't always try new things. And sometimes we'll wait for some of my friends or the people who work at 533 to say you should try it. But for the most part, I always want to use the best things, and I'm trying to find them every time.
That makes sense. That makes sense. For the innovation, what the innovation of the tiny trainer? I saw
so I actually have
picture and a lot of video about it. Can you explain to us?
So I have one. Yeah, so the tiny trainer, it was not my idea. It was Armando's idea. So for those who don't know, Armando and I both co-own 533, 50% each. And Armando is a genius engineer. He worked for Boeing, the people who make like the airplanes, for like 5 years as an engineer. And then now we started 533 together, and that's our main job. So he is very, very good, a very, very good engineer, but also loves to fly drones and wants to make drones that are very useful. So one thing that he found was that he wanted a smaller drone that can fly in like a small area, but it feels like it flies like a racing drone. So it could be good practice, like a 5-inch.
Yeah.
But also is quiet and is very durable and is inexpensive or cheap. So that is where the tiny trainer came. Is it looks very, very good. It's appealing to like a beginner. So lots of beginners have used the tiny trainer to learn how to race. It's cheap and very, very durable because the canopy protects all the electronics. And there was nothing really innovative about the tiny trainer, in my opinion. It was just the idea of creating a small package that's not meant to be the lightest, fastest 3-inch or 3.5-inch in the world, but the one that flies like a much bigger drone so that people can practice and crash and not worry about breaking things or be afraid of flying a bigger drone. And then when it comes time to race a bigger drone, they have the skills built up. So the tiny trainer was all Armando's idea, and I, of course, have flown them a bunch. But I think, again, it wasn't like there's nothing. Yeah. And even like experienced pilots, I use tiny trainers to practice. Like in the winter right now, we can't race 5-inch inside, so we're racing tiny trainers, and you can practice your lines and practice all the technical skills inside, and then it transfers over to 5-inch as you go outside in the summertime. And then for a beginner, they can fly it and they're not afraid because it's not that scary and it's very durable. So that was the idea. It was really just bringing together all the right pieces and making it a package that people liked. and then trying to put on races, to sponsor people, and to let the community have access to it as much as possible. So that is a Tiny Trainer, but it's seriously one of my favorite products that has ever been in FPV, because I think the purpose of it is really nice.
Feel good, feel good. It's one of the one advice for beginners: try it, try and fly.
Oh yeah.
Another advice for
Absolutely.
beginner. Do you have it?
Yeah, I do. The biggest thing I see with beginners is I think in drone racing especially if you started flying maybe freestyle first, or started flying DJI drones or something like that, and you look at racing, it might be scary to show up to a race for your first time because you don't know what's supposed to happen. Is like, do you have the right drone? Are you going to bother people? And I mean, at least every single drone race I've ever attended, everybody loves to have new people there. So as a beginner, I would say, like, we as an FPV community want the community to grow. We want to invite more people to come fly with us. We want to help more people get drones and have better setups and be more comfortable flying. So all it takes is you showing up. Maybe you don't even bring a drone. Just come and watch. Just come and learn. It's fun. Everybody there is going to be excited. So, but I think I've talked to so many people who were intimidated to come to races because they were afraid of people not allowing them to be there, them getting in the way. And then once you find that community, then drones is even more fun. Like, flying drones by yourself it's great and it's fun. But if you find people who like to fly with you and that you can race against, or you can go freestyle together, that makes it way more fun. And you have this common interest. So races they're competitive and they're cool and everything, but more than anything, it's a great way to bring people together to fly and find a common interest. So go to races, even if you're not the best racer, go and have fun. You're going to make incredible friends. You can help each other. And like, I have friends that I go to dinner with or go to lunch with that we don't race, or we don't even talk about drones, but I met all of these amazing people through flying drones. So if I was a beginner starting all over again, I'm lucky because I know how great the community is. But if I was a beginner starting over again and somebody gave me advice, I would just say, go to a race, go try and find a meetup where people are flying freestyle or racing, and then you get to meet all these great people, and getting drones will only get more fun. So that'd be, of course, there's other advice to like learning how to fly and using the simulator and things like that. But as far as actually enjoying FPV and having fun, that would be my advice, is just to get go meet people that also do it in your area.
Nice that. And for the race case, in my personal opinion, I heard about it from someone, I don't really remember who said that, but before you start, better this, because when you are in the race, you have the pressure to get your drone ready to fly. So even for the fly crash repair, even for the repair mode, you get better just in that. Just beginning with the race season, you get better just for the repair, and I don't know, you feel more comfortable when you broke an arm, when you broke a neck, and you know what to do, and you do it. So more you do it, better it is. Even is the same for how many depots you did. So you do more depots, is better for you need more time. You need time for understand how the drone move when you you move the stick. It's the same time. It's the same thing for me. Another question that I have is, at the end, after 15 years in the RC community, what's your memorable episode? What's the best episode of your RC life?
Nobody has ever asked me that question before, and
Yes.
Yeah, good job. Nobody's ever asked that. I would have to think about it. I've been so lucky to have experienced so many different things with drones and flying remote control airplanes. But I mean, I guess I could list like maybe the top three. The top three, I think, were winning the I think the 2021 Multigp. The last time I won, well, all the times I won the Multigp nationals. It was just experiences that I will never forget. So it was 2018, 2019, and 2021. And I just will never forget those experiences because they, I don't know, they're on video, and it was things that I worked so hard for. And what was different about those is it wasn't really, there was no money. There was no like, I'm going to do this for work. It was just doing it because I liked to do it and I worked hard for something, it's different now with it being my job. So for DRL, we're doing all these things, of course, because I love it, but it's also, there's money there to be won and there's the next contract and all of those things. But what's some of my most fond moments were looking back when none of that was a worry and just flying to fly. And that's what I've been focusing on recently, is just flying to have fun and making products that people like so they can have fun. But those are really fun times. Other than that, the other ones I think would be maybe like winning DRL, obviously, in 2021 in Vegas. It was like on the strip of Las Vegas.
Ooh,
and
nice.
The championship was there, and winning in front of a live crowd with thousands of people. It was like, of course, it was really cool for me, but it was exciting for drone racing to see so many people getting excited about the sport that I love so much. It really, really cool. And I would say, other than that, it's just the part, like the most memorable part is this time I'm at in my life right now of being able to film and race and own a business. Like, it feels like the good times. Like maybe like in a few years I'll look back and be like, these were the good times. And I feel like I'm in them right now. So I'm trying to just soak up every minute and second that I can, because they're not going to last forever. Simple as that. So I'm really trying to just enjoy them now, because there's been a lot of fun things happening recently that are going good. Maybe there's something maybe happening this week that we can't talk about right now, but if it comes out, maybe I'll come back out on the podcast, because there could be something very, 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 very exciting. But it's not for sure happening yet. We're trying to make it happen.
Okay, that was a good answer. Really, thank you.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you get to my next question. In the same time, I just think about it, but. How do you just balance the competition, your passion, the photograph shoot? How it's possible to balance all of that?
Yeah, that's something I've really struggled with before. This is another question I haven't really gotten asked before. It's something I've struggled with before. Oh,
sorry. Minus, can you make me manager?
Yeah.
Manager? Sorry, head.
No problem. But yeah, as far as balancing things like this, it's definitely something I've struggled with before, because we're trying to run and grow a company 533. I'm trying to race and be the best pilot that I can be, and then also trying to film at the same time. And the biggest, yeah, of course, the biggest thing that helps me, the biggest perspective change that I've had recently, is if you're trying to do all of them at the same time. Like if I'm on a film job and I'm trying to also run the company, or if I'm practicing and then also trying to worry about other things, it just becomes, it's overwhelming, and then you're not living in the moment. So what I try and focus on is whatever it is that I'm working on, that is what I'm working on. And then I can just try and evenly do that throughout the month. So if I sit down to practice, I'm not worried about work. I'm not worried about filming. All I'm worried about is just racing, and that only. And then in the same way, if I'm filming somewhere, I'm not worried about racing right then. I'm not worried about the company right then. I'm worried about just filming. And that allows me to just be living in the moment and in the present and not have all these other things worrying me.
100% in a point. Next
Exactly.
step, 100% in a point.
And that has really helped me a lot. And then it's like I can film during the day, and then like when I get home from a film job or something, then I like that night, then I can call the people I need to call and work on the things I need to work on. But whatever it is, I just decide, okay, what is it that I need to focus on right now? That is all I care about at this moment. And then trying to balance personal relationships and friends and things like that also is something that I have to do. And when I'm with friends or I'm with family or whoever, then I just try and work on being in the moment and very present. Otherwise, it can just be too much, and then I'm never really there. Like if I'm hanging out with you, if I'm talking with you guys right now, but I'm working over here and like missing questions and thinking about other things, then that wouldn't be fair to you. So I just try and be very in the moment and present, and then to be very intentional on what I work on and think on.
No, that's good one. Still, really. Okay. And how I run a company, so maybe I can answer this question, but I want just another point of view. From how do you to stop thinking about work when you go home? That is the
That's a great question. That's a great question.
So
how do I
you
stop
just
thinking
get
about
the
work?
phone and throw some there and just close the door. How?
So no, these are fantastic questions. That's very, very tough, because, and that's something I've definitely also struggled with as well, is how do you do all these things all day and this be my passion since I was 5 years old and all of these things, and then when I'm home or by myself or with friends, I just turn it off.
Yeah.
And the big thing
compromise
is,
I give to
the
guys at work phone number that is not get line in my home.
Okay. So what I use, I use like do not disturb on my phone and my laptop, and that basically allows only my friends and family, like I can decide whose messages and numbers come to me.
Yeah.
And so I try and do that, especially when I'm with people. The one of the downsides of the career that I've taken or chosen is, and the position that I have is, work is very, very big in my life, and I need to be ready, and I need to constantly be on Facebook and Instagram and responding to customers and trying to make new products, and it's something that I think about a lot. But when I'm with other people, then it's very important to me to be intentional to be with them, because they deserve that attention. So I turn my phone off, I put it on do not disturb. Like Armando, of course, he is the other owner of 533. He can contact me whenever, and we both, because he has a family as well, so we have like a mutual respect to, if you're with your family or you're with your friends, then just to give each other time, and it's okay. But it's very tough, like you said, and there is a compromise, and I try and do various things, but it's something I have to work on every day. But also, I think about work a lot, because my work is also what I do for fun. If I lost every single job that I had, drones, filming, business, everything, the first thing I would do is go fly FPV, because that's just what I like to do. As simple as that. So it doesn't matter if it's work or not. Like, this is just what I like to do, and that's what I like to think about. So it's weird mixing the two, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I would not.
Oh, that's nice. It's really good to see a young guy as you ready for the future, ready for what's next. it's really, that means you work a lot of yourself on yourself, and really good one. That
And also with a really good word for FPV community in all the world, not just in Italy or for everyone in the world.
Yeah. I mean, so one of my biggest goals is to advocate for FPV, because if I can help be a face that promotes FPV in a good light and people see things that I do or say or whatever, and that helps make FPV more popular, or people think better about it, then I want to do it, because I love this community. I love the people in it. So yeah, it's something I care about really more than just about anything, is the reputation of FPV and how I can try and make that better. So it's something I really do care about.
In a small way, I think I do the same, but giving my free time with that. I was, as we talked before the live, I will spend just some time as I can for the FPV, because I saw a hole in the FPV community. There wasn't enough people who talk about what FPV racing community is. So when I saw a racing day, I just don't know who is them. What's the difference between that group and that group? So the important, I think, is give something to the FPV community to grow, to help the community to grow, and that's really that is difficult sometimes, because you see that the community is small, but sometimes when it grow and you can feel it, and that give you the power and charge your lipo. So what's the future of that? I really don't know, but I feel like the future, as Orca said, the future is bright, because here I saw the community grow little bit for little bit. Now in Italy we are not too much. We are just for the racing community we are 100 people, I think. But I saw people joining, just coming here to VelociDrone just to make a race. And for you, what's the future of the FPV community? How you see from a guy who have a shop, from a guy who starts sharing the rate, the FPV rate. Other than that, I have a question about it. How the future of FPV community, racing community, for you?
Yeah, that's one that I think everybody wants to know, right? Is what's the future hold for us? And I think that we as a community need to make FPV racing more accepting and more acceptable to anything. So for example, one big thing, like this past weekend, we hosted a race with 3 different classes. So we had the tiny trainer race in the morning, and then in the afternoon we had HD spec. So that is DJI or walk snail only, which allowed so many new pilots to come who had never raced before. I've lived in Tennessee, in this part of the country, for my whole life, and I thought I met every drone pilot here. I thought I met every single one. But we've hosted races for years and tried to meet so many people, and we hosted this HD race that required DJI and walk snail, and like 10 people that I had never met before came and attended the race, because they were like, this is the first race we've seen that actually allows us to come fly, because they don't have analog and they don't have HD0. Because if you just are a normal person who wants to go fly for fun, of course you're going to buy DJI, of course you're going to buy walk snail, because it's so much more enjoyable to fly. And then you don't want to buy new goggles, or you don't want to buy new drones to go race with. So racing is just kind of scary, right? It's not possible. So for hosting races that encourage or require you to use DJI or walk snail, so you're not at a disadvantage. You're not going to be told like, oh no, you need to go fly in a different heat because you interfere with our signals or whatever. It was amazing. So I think things like that because here, let me paint a picture for you. So we have all of this data, right, of all the customers in FPV. Yeah. I think that digital, like DJI and walk snail, I would think that the community for freestyle in that market is like 10 times the size of the people who fly analog and HD0. There are so many more people, and maybe even if it's not 10 times the size, if you look at, for every 10 people that join FPV this week, at least 9 of those 10 are going to join with DJI or walk snail. So if you think about how do we get more people to race, how do we get more new people into racing, you need to host races that allow those people who are joining and getting in FPV, they need to be allowed as easy as possible to join. So that means us as these dedicated racers who fly HD0 and analog for the lowest latency, we need to host races that allow those other people to come, and host races that allow the bigger part of the community to be a part of. Because right now we're this tiny part, and the other community is this big, and none of them want to come fly with us because they can't. We would tell them no, or that they don't work with timing, or they don't work with video. So if you want to make racing bigger, how can we have access to all of these people? And that's what we are trying to do, and I think is the future. That's what I think. Getting whatever's bringing the most people into drone racing, let's go fly with them. I don't care. I will fly the worst drone in the world. I will race a DJI Avata if there's 100,000 of them that people are flying. If we want to grow, that's what we're going to have to do. That's what we're going to have to do.
Okay. Oh, in our group in Infano, we had a guy with a DJI. We feel like no interference for the moment, so maybe it's just because he's alone, but it's good to see someone. He's not get to any race, he's just there to enjoy flying and enjoy go between the gates, and it's good, it's really good. And I get that, but how do you do for spotter? If you need to do a real race here, you need to have a spotter, you need to have a competing championship to agree with that.
Yeah.
How do you do it with that?
So here's an idea, something we figured out recently. So one big problem is, timing, because a lot of these systems, they have fluctuating power, and they sometimes will change channels automatically. To use a normal timing system, that would be near impossible. But if you take a video transmitter, like an analog VTX, and you, with no camera attached, just power via like the balance connector of your battery, right?
Yep.
So you can just plug it in like a transponder. You can set that video transmitter to maybe like 8 low band channels. So you can use, or channels that aren't being used by DJI, very low power, and on certain channels that aren't being used. That means when you fly through the gate, you set the timer to those channels on the transponder. And then all you have to do to get timing is just hand those to people, and they can put them on their battery, and it will say what channel they're on. And then it doesn't matter what their video is doing. If it's 100 milliwatts or 1,000 milliwatts, it doesn't matter, because the timer is only looking from the signal from the VTX that you put on the balance connector. And it works flawlessly. It works great. We've tested it recently where, yes, we have like a VTX, like a TBS Unify Nano, like the very, very small one, like $20, put a linear antenna on it, and then we put them on low band channels, like low band 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you put the timer on, you say like pilot 1 is low band 1, even though they're not on low band 1, you just put their VTX on their balance connector that powers it, no problem. They fly, and the timer picks them up every single time. So this is a way to get timing with digital, and it works perfect. And it does not interfere with other pilots. It doesn't interfere with digital systems or analog, and it makes the timing work. and getting the like digital feed is a little bit harder. But what we did is you can buy like Raspberry Pis using the Cosmos Streamer software, and at each pilot station, the pilot just picks up the cable, plugs it into their goggles, and then it will send to a capture card exactly what the pilot sees at all times. So even for review, you have 120 FPS. I guess you can't look at it right now, but we actually hosted a live stream with the HD this past weekend, and it was amazing. It was really, really cool.
Set into the chat with a problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Oh, but that is a really good one. Really clever. Just attach a VTX and say to the
exactly.
Hey, that's one. It's smart, really smart.
It was Armando's idea, not mine.
To set. Oh, that's one. Okay, so maybe we'll be ready here in Italy. We will do something like that. We will try.
You definitely should. Definitely should. I just sent the link in the general of the Discord. This is from the from Trackside. You can see what all 4 pilots saw, and the way this worked is just each pilot having a Raspberry Pi, and you just plug in your goggles. So each pilot just plugged in his goggles, and then we all raced against each other. And this is what was to the live stream.
Oh, wait a sec. I will. Okay. That's good. But it's clever. Really clever.
Yeah, it was really awesome. And even though it was indoors, there was no multipathing either. No digital noise like you see with HD0 or something. It was crystal clear. It was really awesome.
Okay. So, but how do you how's work for championship? Like here we have a national championship. We have some track areas. So one is in Turin, one is in Modena, one is here in Fano, and we are all in the same championship. How it's work in America?
So we don't know quite yet how HD would work in that, because it needs to be a separate class. Because if you have the option to run any video transmitting system, then the best will still be HD0 or analog. And then if you're these pilots that have, there's all these more pilots over here, they still will not come to race because they have worse equipment. So I think we would run a separate championship for HD racing. And the requirement would be like for this, like for the HD spec, we ran the Tiny Trainer HD, our newest Tiny Trainer, and the requirement was 3.5-inch propellers, and then a RPM limit of 25,000 RPM using the Betaflight firmware, and then a minimum weight. I can't remember what the minimum weight was, and then everybody's drone was about the same speed. And this, like we've done in America a lot with different spec racing, like Freedom Spec or Street League and things, this allowed us to have multiple different championships. So like open class, you can run whatever you want. But then you have Freedom Spec, which is a different championship, and Street League, which is a different championship. And what I found is, so say you go to a race on a weekend and you drive maybe like 4 hours to go to the race. And you go there and you go to the qualifying, and then you go to the bracket, and then you crash on the first 2 brackets, and then you're done. And then now you have to go home. And it's not like, then you're kind of mad and upset. And you didn't really get to fly that much. So what we are trying to do is do like maybe 3 different races in the same day. So maybe in the beginning of the day, do open class or do Tiny Trainer.
But
and then the next part of the day, do HT. No, so like 5-hour races. So start like maybe 9 in the morning, 9 to 1. So do a little bit of qualifying and then go straight into racing.
Okay.
And then you crown a champion for that race. And then if you get out early, it's okay. Then you go straight into the next race. So that's what we did this weekend. We did Tiny Trainer from 9 to 1. And then from 1 to 6, we did HD racing. So everybody was back in the race. Nobody was kicked out anymore. Everybody got their HD drones and came and flew those on a different track. So they got to do 2 different tracks in one day. And then After that championship, we went straight into tiny whoop racing, and then everybody just had fun whoop racing, and we had pizza, and it was super fun. And everybody was like, this was really nice because I got to basically go to 3 different races in one day. If I had a bad day of this drone, then that was okay because I knew I got to race again later on. And then even if all my drones didn't work, I got to fly tiny whoops at night, and I just got to have fun with my friends. So I think that is a way that can make it easier for people to travel further for drone races because they get 3 different races in one day. And then also, if maybe they don't like open class or they don't like spec racing, they get to try a little bit of each and then get to race against their friends 3 separate times, which I think is really cool.
Okay.
You need sorry.
Oh.
For do this does 3 race in a day or 2 days.
Yeah.
You need one spot of outdoor for 5" and one spot indoor for teeny, for example. Is that
potentially?
Right?
So like what we did this last weekend is all of the racing was indoors. So we did Tiny Trainer, HD, and Tiny Whoop. So it was all indoors. But say like for Tiny Trainers, you can race Tiny Trainers outside too. Like we have plenty of Tiny Trainer races outside. But for Tiny Whoops, what we like to do is maybe partner with like a local restaurant or local bar or something like that, and then you can it's super fun because they like you just bring a couple gates and then you promise you're going to buy a bunch of food and beer or whatever, and because you probably are, and then it's entertaining for their guests because they have their normal people there and they are having fun, whatever, and they get to watch drone racing, and you are providing entertainment for free to them. You're paying them to entertain them. So as a bar or restaurant, it's like, okay, sure, we'll give you this part of the dining room. Go do whatever you want over there. And then you buy food and drinks and you have fun with your friends. And then that's like the end, like a really fun end to the night of drone racing. Which I think if you can make races more like a party or for fun, then more people are willing to come because it doesn't matter if you're good anymore because you just like to go and hang out with your friends. Like, okay, if I don't do good, then at least I know I get to go race tiny whoops at night with my buddies. Like that, I think people will drive far for that.
So your vision is it's a little bit open in some way of our championship, but a little bit more close in other way. So in our championship you can fly it's 5 races here, 6 is just one championship, and you can fly with what you want. So you can just come with 5" 3" and fly like the qualifying with the 3" so you can understand better the lines, and after you can race with the 5 or mix it up. In this way we are a little bit opener because the races are less, so we need to be sure that guys come and fly with what they are, what they have. But in the other way, it's a little bit more open because you do a lot of race, more race. About how many races do you do a year? A lot, I think.
Per year, like so Multigp, there's like so many, there's so many people here who all race and fly, that they do lots of races. But like, so me and Armando run races, and we run like 1 per month in our area. But then like within a few hours drive, you can go to people who are also running 1 per month. And then if enough people within 4 hours, like a few hours of you are running, then I
didn't think about this.
Then there's races all the time. And like Tiny Whoop racing and Tiny Trainer and 5" and Street League and Freedom Spec. There's just always something happening, it seems like.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. That America is a little bit bigger than Italy, so more people, more race. Yeah, that's good. So, any message for the future year? So, if you need to, how to say that? If you need to leave a message to your, but in the future, what is will be. Like, remember this. This is the focus.
Yeah. Yeah, also never been asked this before. That's like 4 that I've never been asked.
But Minus is not uno qualunque, Lollo, come si dice?
He's not some guy in the street, he will say.
Yeah.
I'm someone in the street, but actually at home, but same as.
I would say if I had to give a message to myself in the future, my I guess message would be to just work on things that are fulfilling. And that is, like, for me, like, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to get more people to race drones. I'm trying to get more people into FPV. I'm trying to make more products that more people can use. I'm trying to, like, just do more things like this that support the community. I'm not, like, I don't wake up every single day and think about what my profit margin is and how I can make the most amount of money or something like that. Like, all I'm focused on is just doing things that I like to do and that benefit the people that I like to be around. And if I could continue, like, if that could just be my life's purpose, is just to do that, then that would be amazing. And, you know, of course, it's difficult. Sometimes you can lose sight of that. Like, you know, money is something that we all think about, and, you know, possessions and various things like that, it gets in the way. So if I can just stay focused on doing things that I like to do with people I like to do for a purpose that I genuinely support and believe in, then that's what I would tell my older self. Like, just get back to that. Focus on that, because you just live fulfilled and you live happy, and that's what I like to do. So if I can stay true to that and not get stuck in the rat race of trying to get more money or the new best deal or something, and just focus on doing things I like with people I like, then I think future self and past self would be really happy. So that's kind of my message to my future self.
Okay, we will leave the message in a bottle and just throw in the ocean. Maybe he will come back. Maybe your video is a little bit blocked. Okay, yeah. The video of Discord is just blocked.
Oh no.
No, don't worry. It's work now. Maybe. Yes, it's working.
Okay.
Because I'm in 4G too. In my home, I live in Campaign, so my internet connection is just a 4G modem. So hope it's work. We have just another few questions, and we are good. But how it was when you opened to the European market as a shop?
Yeah. So the European market is something that is, like, we want to be a part of more, but it's just very, very difficult. You know, we've tried various EU shops and things like that in the past and working with Orca, but there are just inherently difficulties in having the import taxes, and then there's like various licenses for distributing electronics, of course, for the electronic waste rules in Europe. So what I think, at least the latest thing that we've tried to do, is be as accepting as possible to new vendors as possible. If there's any shops in Italy or any shops in Europe that want to carry 533 products, however we can help them. There is one person on the 533 team who is just dedicated to trying to support European vendors. And if you email sales@fly533.com, his job is dedicated to just trying to get more European vendors and try and support them as much as possible. Because again, we've had other attempts, and like Orca, for example, is very focused, maybe not as much on the FPV community right now, and their other different industries, if you will. And the European shop, we have to have all these different licenses for European waste, and or the electronic waste, and it just was not possible to justify the cost of doing that. Yeah. So what we've instead done is said, well, if we do European vendors and as many of them as possible, then that will support their businesses, because we will make products that people want to buy, and they will get supported by buying them through this store, which would be good for the community. And this will allow everyone in the community to support their local store. I don't want you to buy and pay crazy shipping from 533 all the time. I want you to support your local store so that you can have a store nearby. And I want to make products and support those exact vendors to do that. So if you have a local store that doesn't carry 533 products, or you have a store that has 533 products out of stock, don't come to me, because I'm not the one you're going to be buying from. Go to them and say, hey, I want to give you my money. I want these products from 533. Reach out to sales@fly533.com, and they said they will help you. And I can't say it's going to be perfect, and we have things out of stock and all this stuff, but we want to. We are trying, and we're going to give you all the tools to do that as possible, because that's what we want to do. And we're going to try and support you, the vendor. We want you to succeed. We want you to bring our products to the local pilots. So that is as far as the European market, that is where we're at. And it's struggled, and there's been times where it's hard, and it still is. But that is my latest plan as far as how to get our products in the European market as much as possible to support those people who are making those small shops and everything.
Oh, that's good. Even because I think the switchback is the most used frame in race community. From the biggest name, I saw just light switchback, some Fox, sorry, Paulo, from Paulo Fins. Really, a lot of guy mentioned him. Really, I can't say all the name I saw pilot a switchback, but it's one of the most famous. And there will come the question about the 533. Are 533 rates made for the switchback, or the switchback it's made for 533?
That's a great question. I have used 533 rates for so long, like so long. I think I switched to 533 rates the day after 2017 Nationals, because before I used like 1200 degree rates, and it was so bad. And after Nationals, I switched to 533 on everything. And then I didn't start my company until like 2 years later. And so that was before the switchback. So then I guess that means that the switchback was made for the 533 rates, because I already had them before the switchback. And I wanted something that felt perfect. And the switchback, when I flew it the first time, just so good. Then just made products that felt good for me. But now I will say, because I don't want to lie, I use 533 for pitch and yaw, but for roll I use 633 grates. So that is instead of because like 533 is 0.8 RC rate, 0.7 super rate, and 0 expo, but for 633 on roll it's 0.95 RC rate and then 0.7 super rate. So the super rate is the same for all, but for roll I changed to 0.95, which makes it 633 just for roll though.
Okay, I will copy that, because the first time I came to the field, our captain Difo that is in Qatar today, so he can't come. He just say, I ask, what rate you fly? Oh, fly 533. Why? Fly 533. Okay, I wait.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think we ask everything.
I have one question.
Yeah.
For your experience, you suggest to practice drone racing for 1, 2, 3, 4 hours continuously, or you take break after just pre-race, or just 2 perhaps? So
this is a great question, and one I've argued with my friends about a lot, about what we think is the best way to practice. So what I've never talked about this, but this past year for DRL, I hired a sports psychologist, and a sports psychologist is someone who works with like like football players, for basketball players, for swimmers, for all kinds of sports. And people who are really good, they all hire a sports psychologist because their job is to help them practice as best as possible and learn the best mental game to be as good as possible. So I talked to her about this and like, what do you think the best way to practice is? And she says that you don't want to get in like, you don't want to sit down for 4 hours and not move and just go race after race after race after race after race, because then or like and you don't want to like reset, like crash reset. No, that's not how you want to do it. So you would do like maybe different intervals. So like maybe 15 minutes of crash reset over and over and over, just trying to get faster. And then maybe you do 15 minutes of not allowed to reset anymore, where you just fly, and no matter how many times you mess up, no matter how much prop damage you have, you just keep flying. And then you train your brain to be able to switch and get into a mode of just finish, focus on your lines, fly consistent. Because you have to think about the end goal. The end goal is you be able to show up at a race and fly consistently and fast and under pressure. Simple as that. You're not going up there to win qualifying. You're not going up there to have the fastest lap. You're going to fly consistently and under pressure. Simple. But you also do want to get faster. So that means you can't just finish every single race, because then you'll never improve, because you're never pushing yourself. So you need to be able to do a little bit of both. Push yourself in the 15 minutes of crash reset, work on new lines, and then apply those new lines and those new ideas in the 15 minutes of finish 3 laps. And then what that does is it doesn't allow your brain to sit there and just become like complacent. You don't sit there and just like, oh my gosh, it's been 4 hours. What have I been doing? You are constantly thinking and being intentional about your practice. And this allows you to get much better practice in a shorter amount of time. Because I think if you think about intentional practice, if your 1 hour of practice can be equal to somebody's 3 hours of practice, then you can practice less and be better than them in a shorter amount of time. So you need to maximize the efficiency of your practice. And the second you stop thinking about what you're doing, you need to stop. You need to do something. You need to switch up something. Have a goal. Have an initiative as to what you're flying. And this will make you better in a shorter amount of time. But you have to have those strategies and those techniques to do that. And then additionally, even if that's one strategy. Another one would be to practice flying and talking to your friends, or flying with a distraction. Put wind on in VelociDrone. Do if you have make sure that you have some level of distraction that could make it more similar to like a real race. Like at a real race, there's wind. The conditions aren't always perfect. Your drone isn't always perfect. There's people yelling and screaming, or there's music. Try and make it different constantly, and that way your brain just gets used to focusing. If you can have this noise and you can train your brain to just flatline it and be focused, then it's a huge deal when you're at a race. That's what I would recommend. And again, I've talked with her for hours and hours and hours about the best way to practice or improve and work on the mental game. But that was one tip she gave that has worked with a lot of different athletes, and what I use for drone racing too.
That's a great answer.
To say, you say hi to Armando for him. Fins
I will.
I don't know if you remember, he was in Multigp. Yeah, perfect. Chapo. And we're good.
Awesome.
I think we are good. Thank you, really.
Awesome.
Thank you for the time you gave us. I wish to see you in Multigp. I don't know. I really wish.
You should.
And really,
we hope to see you. Minus. Let me say. We hope to see you in Marche, in Italy.
Yeah.
Where are you guys?
Dinner,
are you guys
just
close
for
to...
dinner if you want.
Yeah. Are you guys close to Florence at all? Florence, Italy?
No, you know Rome? Rome?
Rome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Forgot it. In the other side of Italy.
The other side. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have a friend who is taking some classes for school in Italy these next few months in Florence, and so maybe I can try and figure out a way to to end up in Italy, and then I come. I'll bring my drones so we can go fly.
Truck feed in near Florence, so 1 hour.
That would be so fun.
1 hour and a half. But yeah, why not?
Maybe so. I can reach out. Maybe it'd be fun. I don't know.
Yeah, it will be.
Of course.
So guys,
Cool.
thank you. Happy flying.
Yeah.
See ya.